One down, 11 to go. While I'm resting my knees, I want to show you this piece of the model I brought over here to explain how this tread will be different than the first one. This one was cut off flush with the edge of the skirt. I'll put a nosing on here later. This part will be covered by the newel. This is the nosing, and it fits on the tread like that. This is actually a better example of the second tread. I'll get my cut line across here and lay out a 45. I'll saw the cut with a table saw and hand saw the 45. Then I'll put the nosing on later. The width of the nosing, the overhang, is the same as the overhang was on the front. Put the tread tight against the house skirt board. Make a mark flush with the edge of this skirt board. Now I need to add a 1/2 inch for the housing and 1 1/8 for the return nosing. I'll square these marks across. This is a cut mark. This is where the edge of the return nosing will be. I'm taking that out to the corner so I know where to saw my miter. Now I'll lay out the 45 from that mark. Saw this with a table saw and this with a hand saw. This is some of that planing and fitting I was talking about. I tried this nosing, I tried its fit into the mortise, and it was a little tight, so I've taken a few shavings off so it'll fit better. As you can see, I've made a unit out of this one. Assembled the riser to the tread and put the screws and glue in already. Now let's try our fit. Yeah, that's real good. It fits over here too. Now I'll take it out and glue it in place. Oh, that fits really great. Nice and tight. It's really starting to look pretty good. Takes care of number 2. Now I'll install the third step, and then I'll show you how to install the return nosing. Okay, the third one's in place. I've brought this piece of return nosing, which I've ripped off an extra tread. I've cut a 45 on it to mate with a 45 from my tread. I still have to cut it to length, though. It's a little long. I'm going to mark it in place. To do this, I'll make a mark at the front face of my riser, and then I'll cut a 45 like this. Then I'll add a little piece in here which will butt into the finished skirt. Now that I've got it cut to length, I'm going to use a little glue to help hold it on. I'm using construction adhesive instead of yellow glue because this is a piece of cross-grain construction, and as this tread moves, it would break the glue bond if we were using yellow glue. Now to make this little piece, I've cut a 45 on this piece of molding. I'm going to mark its length in place instead of using a tape measure. Now, when I cut this square, the little piece will fit. I'm going to use yellow glue instead of construction adhesive on this little piece because I have a pretty nice fit. I'm going to use tape because a little finish nail might split this piece. There, we'll just leave that there until the glue dries. Working on the return nosing for the second tread. I'm doing this one a little differently, and I'll show you just a minute how I'm rounding over this edge instead of cutting that little piece